changed countless lives. She did not merely witness the suffering of women and children, she took decisive action to lead the charge for change. Faced with the ravages of the HIV/AIDS epidemic and the scars left by years of military dictatorship, Titi envisioned a better future, a future where democratic governance reignites hope and empowers every individual to reclaim their dignity and rights. WOTCLEF stands as a testament not only to her compassion, but also to the transformative power of our democratic journey. Reflecting on our past, let us acknowledge the incredible strides made through this organization and its partners. Thanks to WOTCLEF's advocacy, we witnessed the establishment of NAPTIP. NAPTIP is a national agency for the prohibition of trafficking in persons and other related matters. This agency has become a vital ally in our national fight against the heinous crime of trafficking in persons. I take this moment to express our profound gratitude to members of both chambers of the National Assembly for their decisive action on July 7, 2003, in passing the WOTCLEF-sponsored private member bill that laid the foundation for the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Law Enforcement and Administration Act 2003, which birthed NAPTIP. Never have we witnessed a private initiative that was recognized by law in this nation. This legislative milestone prioritized the protection of our most vulnerable citizens. Furthermore, I want to extend our profound and most heartfelt appreciation to my former boss and boss for life, to President Olusegun Obasanjo, 1999 to 2007, for his swift assent to the WOTCLEF bill, which prohibited women trafficking and child labor in Nigeria. His courageous leadership fostered the environment that energized WOTCLEF's mission, reinforcing our democratic values while delivering vital hope to our downtrodden communities. Subsequent Nigerian presidents and members of the National Assembly have carried forward this noble effort, recognizing the urgency of combating women trafficking and child labor. The Presidency and National Assembly, in an unprecedented show of executive and legislative collaboration, diligently scrutinized the 2003 Act and, in a bid to correct some of its observed deficiencies, repealed and reenacted a more encompassing one, which was signed into law by President Dr. Jonathan Goodluck on March 26, 2015. The new act re-established NAPTIP as a federal agency devoted to fighting the most egregious violations of women's and children's rights. Together, these actions highlight the strength of collaborative governance and our collective will to build a safer, fairer society for all. As we celebrate WOTCLEF's achievements, let us also recognize and highlight the intangible gifts it has bestowed upon our society. 1, awareness and education. WOTCLEF has tirelessly campaigned at all levels, raising awareness about the harsh realities of human trafficking and child labor, educating countless individuals about their rights and available resources. 2, partnerships. The Foundation has forged invaluable partnerships with local and international organizations, NGOs, and development agencies, uniting resources and expertise to effect meaningful change. 3, rescue and rehabilitation. Most importantly, WOTCLEF has been pivotal in rescuing and rehabilitating victims, restoring hope and dignity to lives shattered by exploitation. Yet, our work is far from complete. As we celebrate the triumphs of WOTCLEF over the past 25 years, we must also confront the challenges that lie ahead. The journey to eradicate human trafficking and child labor remains fraught with obstacles, and it is our collective responsibility to tackle them. Awareness and education. Despite our progress, many Nigerians remain unaware of the signs and consequences of trafficking and child labor. We must enhance our outreach efforts, particularly in rural areas where ignorance and poverty abound. Resources and funding. The fight demands substantial resources, both financial and human. We need continued funding for prevention programs, community support initiatives, and legal aid for victims. Strengthening law enforcement. Effective law enforcement is critical. We must provide ongoing training and support to law enforcement agencies to ensure they can effectively identify, investigate, and prosecute perpetrators. Addressing root causes. Poverty and lack of opportunity fuel trafficking. We must adopt comprehensive approaches to tackle the socio-economic factors that contribute to these issues, such as gender inequality and insufficient access to education and health care. Advocacy and policy reform. While we have made progress, continuous advocacy is vital to enforce existing laws and develop new policies that prioritize the protection of vulnerable populations. As WOTCLEF navigates these challenges, let us draw strength from the shared vision that unites us. Together, we have the power to create a Nigeria free from the grips of human trafficking, where every woman and child can live in safety, dignity, and hope. Each of us has a role to play, no matter how small, in this essential endeavor. To Her Excellency, my wife, Titi Abubakar, thank you for your indomitable spirit and for your unwavering belief in the possibility of change. Your legacy is one of compassion, resilience, and impact. Together, let us commemorate this milestone and renew our commitment to the vision of WOTCLEF, a vision that will guide us resolutely into a brighter future. Let us continue advocating for policies that protect the rights of women and children, challenging systematic inequalities, and eradicating the scourge of child labor. Today, we recommit ourselves to these efforts. Let us draw inspiration from Titi's legacy of service, her unwavering courage, and her resolute spirit. As we look ahead, let us harness our collective strength to engage all segments of society, governments, businesses, and communities, advocating for actionable solutions that uplift our most vulnerable citizens. In the years to come, I am confident that Nigerians will build upon the foundation laid by Her Excellency Titi and the compassionate individuals dedicated to WOTCLEF's mission. Let us ensure that no child is denied an education and that no woman suffers through trafficking and exploitation in silence. Let us eliminate the shadows of trafficking and exploitation from our society. Let us unite in purpose and action. Together we can forge a future where dignity, justice, and hope triumph for every Nigerian. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of this celebration and for your dedication to this noble cause. Together, let us continue the fight, empowering our citizens and building the society we dream of. I thank you for coming, and I thank you for being part of this struggle. Let me acknowledge some of the individuals that I might have not mentioned in my opening remarks. Her Excellency, Mrs. Mariam Abacha, His Excellency Governor Sule Lamido, His Excellency Governor Haruna Boni, and Senate President Pius Anyim. I thank you all for coming. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Andy, kindly sign off the last speaker. Thank you.
If I were in your shoes, I'm going to call for a big round of applause for Wazirin Adamawa. Thank you very much, sir. That sets the tone for this 25th anniversary celebration of WOTCLEF. Your Excellency, our chairman, very distinguished at that, former President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Chief Host, Your Excellency, our very special guest of honor and special mother of the day, the #1 woman in Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, ably represented at this occasion by no less a person than the very amiable and beautiful wife of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Hajia Nana Kashim Shettima. Without much ado, Your Excellency, it is pertinent that you have been part of this success story of WOTCLEF from the very beginning, and we are privileged to have you here today as the distinguished chairman of this occasion. May I, in the light of that, ask all of us to please join me with as loud clap as you can make it, as we welcome our father, the man, the father of modern Nigeria, if you ask my candid opinion. Please let's welcome His Excellency President Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 to 2007. If you intend to make that applause a lot louder than that for him, we will appreciate it. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar,
my former colleague, if you like, you laugh. If you like, make you no laugh. Me, I know who my colleagues are. If you don't know who your colleagues are, now you're thorough. I will crave the indulgence of the Royal Majesties and Royal Highnesses that are here, distinguished senators and members of National Assembly that are here, to allow me to recognize in a special way to commend in a way that is very unique, to appreciate in the way that she must be appreciated, my sister, Mrs. Titi Atiku Abubakar. When I got the invitation to attend this anniversary, and when I was interviewed as I was coming in, I said, time flies. It's already 25 years when we brought this into what it is, not when it was incubated, as we heard from former Vice President, that it was incubated 30 years ago. But then, 4 groups of people worked hard to take it from incubation or from idea to reality that we have, and the tremendous work that has been done and great achievement over the past 5 years. Of course, the founder, Mrs. Titi Atiku Abubakar herself, we thank you. And we thank you again. My dear colleague, former Vice President, I thank you for thanking her. Because it's one thing for a woman to have an idea. It's another thing for her to get support, particularly at home. So we got home support, domestic support. I won't go into the other room support. I will also want to thank the National Assembly and the leadership of the National Assembly at that time. Former Vice President has referred to some of them who gave support. One of them is looking at me with koro eye now. Minister, Governor Sule Lamido, I'm referring to the man on your right hand. I won't mention him. We thank you and your members who gave the support that was needed at that time. So we have the domestic support, home support. We have the legislative support. And then, of course, the executive support was not lacking. And then together, we were able to achieve what today we are celebrating. I believe the lesson from there as the former Vice President said, is that when we have all hands on deck, a lot can be achieved for the good of this country. But when we look back, we see how many have benefited from the idea, inspirational commitment of Madam Titi Atiku Abubakar. So whoever says one person does not matter, you can see that one person with the right idea and doggedly pursued can achieve a lot. And of course, one person with devilish idea, again, doggedly pursued, can do a lot of harm. I come here to thank and celebrate the founder and to celebrate what has been achieved and to felicitate with those who have benefited from saving them from trafficking, human trafficking, saving them from child labor. It was a blot on Nigeria. That you go to Italy, you go to Spain, and you see what they do with our young girls. And you came up believing something can be done about it. And you started, and something was being done about it, and is being done about it. At that time, I was worried. We even appealed to the Pope in the Vatican to help us. We appealed to governments in Europe to help us. Some didn't believe that they should help us. But of course, like in all things, the best help is self-help. The best help is self-help. And I remember, just to amuse you a bit, when in 1999, we were campaigning. And Alex Ekweme was a candidate, or not a candidate. He was campaigning to become a candidate, and I was campaigning to become a candidate. I believe that's what happened. Then I went to him, and I said, Alex, look, the road to get to your house is very bad. Why don't you allow me to be president? And one of the first things I will do is to take care of the road to your house. And he said to me, yes, the lesson I told him I learned, that what you can do for yourself, don't give it to other people to do for you. He will not want me to do it for him. He will want to do it for himself. Self-help is the best help. And we need self-help in many areas of our life in this country today. And unless we help ourselves, looking for help outside may not get us there. And we have men and women, young and not so young, at home and abroad, that can come together and give ourselves self-help that we need to take Nigeria out of the rot that we have, to take Nigeria out of the hardship that we have, to make Nigeria what God has created it to be, a land flowing with milk and honey. And I'm here just to say, not that I have a dream, because I'm not a dreamer. I'm an action man. And I believe that we can act together and get Nigeria to where it should be. That is the lesson that my sister, Titi Abubakar, has taught us with WOTCLEF. Thank you, and thank you.
Can we please give His Excellency a big standing ovation? Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Please give him another round of applause, please, just before he settles down. Thank you, Your Excellency. Always a delight to listen to. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We are grateful. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Please, as he settles down, can I call for yet another resounding applause for His Excellency? He has said it all, but in saying it, let me quickly recognize the presence of some other friends of the WOTCLEF Foundation that have joined us. We have the former governor of Adamawa State, His Excellency Senator Bindo Jubrila, just joining us. Please, a round of applause for him, please. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the former minority leader of the House of Representatives. We welcome your esteemed presence, Right Honorable Ndudi Elumelu. We'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have the matriarch of the Lars family here with us, the wife of Chief Solomon Lar. Let's please welcome Professor Mary Lar and her daughter, Honorable Benny Lar. We also recognize the presence Hajia Inachiroma, CON, former Minister of Women Affairs. Please, a warm round of applause for her, as well as Senator Grace Bent, CON. We also recognize the presence the former Director General NAPTIP, former Minister Police Affairs, and now Minister of Women Affairs. Please, let's welcome Honorable Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Let me also recognize very quickly the presence of the representative of the Controller General of Immigrations, represented at this occasion by A.O. Bewaji, Controller of Immigrations. We welcome you. We'd also want to quickly recognize Reverend Mother and Founder Love of Christ Generation. Let's please welcome our Reverend Mother Esther Ajayi with a round of applause, please. And Her Excellency Mrs. Eunice Egu, Founder, Widow Care Foundation, and former First Lady of Ebonyi State. Please, a warm round of applause for her, please. I'd like to just remind all of us that we are live on the AIT network, Africa Independent Television. I want to make very quality use of the number of hours that we have on AIT. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you very much for getting ready to supporting WOTCLEF Foundation. It is at this point we move on with the rest of the programs. Abdulaziz.
Your Excellency, one of the occasion, Your Excellencies, 25 years ago when WOTCLEF was launched here, I was between myself and Andy to be the masters of ceremony on that day, 25 years today. Please give us a round of applause. Without wasting your time, we'll go straight into the next item on our program. Permit me to welcome the masquerade herself, the initiator of this program. Let me invite Her Excellency, Mrs. Titi Abubakar, founder and initiator of WOTCLEF, for our address. Your Excellency.
Thank you, Mr. DJ. Thank you. Our able chairman of the occasion, Your Excellency, President Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of Nigeria, my daddy. The special guest of honor is unavoidably absent. That is I don't know if somebody is representing President Jonathan. Your Excellency, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of Nigeria, GCON, our chief host, and my darling husband. Mother of the day, Her Excellency, Chief Oluremi Tinubu, ably represented by the wife of the Vice President. The guest honor, distinguished Senator Pius Ayim, GCON, former Senate President. Our mothers of the day, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Mariam Sani Abacha. She has left. I don't think, she came purposely just to, to be part of us, but she's not feeling well, so she's gone home. Her Excellency Ajia Tureya Radua, I expected her. I don't know if somebody is representing her here. Her Excellency, the impatient Jonathan. I think Mrs. Lee is representing her. The keynote speaker, Justice Mary Odili, Justice of the Supreme Court, ably represented by Your Worship, Ama Uche Onyendum, Judge of the District Court, FCT. Present and former governors here today, present and former governors' wives, distinguished members of the National Assembly, diplomatic corps, WOTCLEF partners, WOTCLEF Board of Trustees, WOTCLEF ambassadors, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. With due sense of motherly disposition and passionate feelings, I feel greatly delighted to stand here and address you on this auspicious occasion of the Silver Jubilee celebration of the establishment of my foundation, Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation, WOTCLEF. I am particularly elated by the realization of the fact that when we bettered this foundation exactly 25 years ago, only a handful of people gave us any ray of hope of surviving beyond the tenure of my husband as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But to the glory of God, today, the then proverbial mustard seed called WOTCLEF that was planted on the fertile field of human liberation and women's dignity has, within the space of 25 years, significantly grown into a plant. The plant later developed into two significant trees, which are the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and Other Related Matters, NAPTIP, and the network of all the NGOs against child trafficking, abuse, and labor, NACTAL. Millions of Nigerians, especially our women and children, have, like the proverbial birds, consistently perched into their branches, eat of their fruit, and drink of their juices. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it will interest you to know that my motivation to establish a foundation to frontally confront these manifestations of modern-day slavery in all its dimensions and ratifications was a divine mandate from God. 4 decades ago, as a student in school, hotel management at the prestigious Scholar Internationale de Sciences Touristiques Rome, I identify human trafficking and prostitution of our young girls and women as a hard nut that must be cracked. I saw the way our young girls were being degraded in dignity, in worth, in values, and being reduced to objects of sexual commodifications in the city of Italy, thereby giving our dear nation a bad image abroad. This ignited the motherly and the patriotic instinct in me, and I made a vow to God to put an end to this horrendous practice if I had the opportunity to get, to get to the position of influence and power. In May 1999, God answered my prayers when my dear husband was sworn in as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To me, I figured out that all forms of sexual exploitations are incompatible with human dignity and therefore violates fundamental human rights regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, or class of victims. We fight to save animals. We fight to preserve our environment. We fight drug trafficking. We fight currency trafficking. Why not fight to safeguard and preserve human dignity? And the outcome of this initiative is why we are all here gathered this morning to celebrate our modest achievements. There is no doubt that in the last 25 years of our existence, WOTCLEF has passed through murky, sneaky, and windy terrain. But the gains recorded so far outweigh the challenges we encountered. So far, over 14,000 victims have been supported since inception of WOTCLEF, made up of victims of human trafficking, child labor, smuggled migrants, as well as victims of sexual and gender-based violence. WOTCLEF sustained its counter-trafficking partnership with NAPTIP in line with the 5 strategic pillars of policy: prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnership. You will agree with me that with WOTCLEF, the trajectory of human trafficking has changed positively. The awareness against the scourge has been massive and impactful, while the fortunes of women's status have continued to sway. Our story has been a story of challenges defined, obstacles overcome, and new horizons discovered. In December 200, WOTCLEF was part of the federal government delegation led by the then Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Alhaji Sule Lamido, to the sign-on ceremony of the United Nations Convention on Transnational Organized Crime at Palermo, Italy, where I was privileged to deliver a comprehensive paper on the role of the rule of law in abolishing modern slavery, controlling the global sex trade, 2 years later, in 2002, WOTCLEF was granted a special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, ECOSOC. This entitled our foundation to appoint a representative to the UN office in Geneva, Vienna, and New York. We also carried out advocacy visits to almost all the 36 states and FCT, where we formed WOTCLEF brigades in primary schools, WOTCLEF vanguards in secondary schools and tertiary institutions, and WOTCLEF clubs among the civil society groups, as well as WOTCLEF NYCCDS among the youth corporate members in all the states visited. We equally collaborated with the NYC on the community development initiatives on human trafficking, the NURTW on the campaign against the use of underage children as bus conductors in motor parks, the Ministry of Health in Health on Nexus between human trafficking and HIV/AIDS, the Ministry of Education on the advocacy, sensitization, and awareness in various schools, where we initiated national television program on NTA called Izozo as an additional tool of advocacy and enlightenment among the general public. WOTCLEF work with partners, with embassies, MDAs, academias, religious institutions, traditional rulers, the press, public-spirited individuals, and corporate bodies. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this opportunity to immensely appreciate our former President, His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo GCFR, for graciously giving his presidential assent to my first private member bill that established NAPTIP in July 2003, which further boosted and consolidated our legacy of hope in this fight against human trafficking in Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir, my daddy. Also mention must be made of the 4th National Assembly, headed by the distinguished Senator Ayim Pius Ayim, for graciously enacting into law my anti-trafficking, human trafficking bill in 2003, which gave birth to NAPTIP in the same year. I'm equally grateful to the 17-member bill drafting committee, headed by my dear sister, the First Lady of Rivers State, Justice Mary Odili, retired Justice of the Supreme Court, for doing a yeoman's job in putting the draft bill together. I am appreciative of the effort of WOTCLEF Board of Trustees from inception till now for their wonderful support, wise counsels, and quality contributions to our success story. I commend all my principal staff in the villa and other officers who worked with me in the office of the wife of the Vice President for your being always alive to your responsibilities in the course of our advocacy campaigns across all the states of the Federation. To the hard-working, focused, diligent, and ever-winning WOTCLEF team from inception to date, I say a very big well done to you all for working assiduously towards making WOTCLEF the flagship and the pace setter in the crusade against human trafficking. Locally, regionally, and globally, I am grateful to the NAPTIP team for its partnership and for keeping the candle of the crusade against human trafficking burning at all times. Kudos to our local and international partners, too numerous to mention. Our donors, public-spirited Nigerians, other stakeholders in human trafficking space, and members of the fourth estate of the realm, the press for believing in our mission, our vision, and our core values. I equally commend and appreciate the umbrella body of all NGOs in Nigeria and the West African sub-region NACTA for complementing our efforts in this crusade against human trafficking and child labor, and ensuring that stakeholders are in the same boat in the voyage of our journey. To all my children in the rehabilitation centers across the country who are human trafficking survivors, the rehabilitated, the reintegrated, and the empowered survivors, I love you wholeheartedly and everlastingly. Let me reiterate the fact that the restoration of human dignity is a passion I cherish, and I'll continue to cherish for the rest of my life. In the words of Pritchard, an English poet, he says, and I quote, "I'm not covetous for good, nor care I who does feed on my cost. It bothers me not if people wear my garments, for such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it is be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive." End quote. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is often said that the last is reserved for the best. My image, just as my daddy, Baba Shege, has told us. This is the part I want to read to you now. My immense and internal appreciation goes to my amiable husband, my mentor, my motivator, my oxygen. In this crusade, and the love of my life. Without whom I will not be what I am today. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, GCON, for providing me with the enabling environment, the well-withered, the necessary support, the proverbial life jacket, and the needed encouragement. Daddy, thank you for believing in my ability and capability. To get things done with desired result and maximum impact. If there is another opportunity to choose a husband in another world, I will not hesitate to choose you again and again and again. Daddy, I am grateful, and may God continue to bless you richly. Finally, to our Creator, and most importantly, I give all glory to Almighty God for all His sufficient grace, for His mercies, and for His divine enablement to go this far in this crusade, and for keeping us alive and well to witness a great day like this. Let me confess here that WOTCLEF modest accomplishments were not attained by our powers, our wisdom, or our might, but by the grace of the Almighty God, without whom we cannot do nothing. May His name be praised forever. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, stakeholders here present, ladies and gentlemen, As we savor this moment of WOTCLEF's 25th anniversary celebration today, I enjoin us to continue to work in concert and take every step humanly possible to safeguard our women, our children, and other vulnerable Nigerians from crude exploitation and child trafficking. WOTCLEF is proud and pleased to have this opportunity to be your partner in the pursuit of this shared goal. Together, we shall win. Once again, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, my daddy, my husband, for coming, for identifying with us on this auspicious occasion. God bless us all.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, before we introduce the next speaker, Andy, I understand that you have a special message from Andy. We'd like to welcome Ambassador Maisule. I understand he's representing the Arewa Consultative Forum. Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. For me, I'd call for a bigger round of applause for the president and founder of WOTCLEF Foundation. Can we give her a round of applause? Whilst we do that, I recognize the representative of His Royal Highness Etsunupe, who also doubles as the chairman, Council of Traditional Rulers, Niger State, as chairman. We recognize Dr. Rajab Waibi Wazirin Hasken Nupe, representative of Etsunupe, please, our royal father. Can we give him a round of applause, please? In the same vein, I'd like to recognize the presence of the former Minister of State Health, who also is here standing in for the Bua Foundation. I'd like us to recognize Dr. Aliyu Idi Hong. Thank you so very much for joining us. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. For those of you good-spirited individuals, heads of civil society organizations, development partners, and the rest of you that are here, philanthropists as well, we have the account number for WOTCLEF Foundation on display. It will be displayed later on the LED screens in the hall. But in the meantime, if you intend to send anything to that account, please, you may just wish to write this down. WOTCLEF, Zenith Bank, account number 122-831-7026. Zenith Bank account 122-831-7026. As we come back to the microphone, we'll keep repeating that. Again, we'd like to appreciate all of you for the show of love to WOTCLEF Foundation. We'll keep the love coming, and we'll keep doing the best that WOTCLEF is known to be doing in the last 25 years and counting. Enenche, enenche. But don't forget that we are pleased live on the AIT network and is being beamed across the globe. Thank you very much. Enenche, enenche.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much to all of you here present. To former President, Your Excellency.